Hello everyone, my name is Jen and welcome to the Book Refuge and welcome to another oddly specific book recommendations. I'm super excited to do these ones, but before we get too deep into that, I just have to show off that I got some of my new merch design samples in, and so I'm going to show them to you. You can feel free to skip this if you're not interested, but I'm pretty fucking proud of these designs and I got the samples in and I love it. So the one that I'm wearing right now is the Taken by the Mafia design on the white women's slouchy shirt. Yes, any of the designs that you buy in the slouchy shirt, if you like doing the cut shirt club, these already come with the perfectly wide neck to provide that for you. I mean, we are filling the needs here. We are filling the needs. But also, nothing gives me more joy than the fact that I'm going to wear this cozy, delightful, off-the-shoulder shirt with still like so beautiful while I read some of my delightful Mafia. So definitely check out this design. When I wear it slouchy, it's way over there, but who cares? Then I decided to order one of the tank tops to check that out. So I did the Dark Romance Queen design, and this is in the Razorback tank in the hot pink. This is so soft. I'm really impressed with the quality of these, and this is particularly appropriate when we get into the topic for today. And then the other one that I ordered a sample of, is just repping the Book Refuge. I ordered one of these ones. I just really love how these turned out, and I think it looks really cool. So anyway, enough self-promotion, but your girls just got to do it. If you love romance recommendations for dark romance, historical romance, contemporary romance, indie romance, I am one of the channels for you. So make sure you hit subscribe and like. It's important for my channel. I've got to remember to mention that. It's obligatory. It's got to happen. But let's dive into these oddly specific book recommendations. So as you can tell by the title, or maybe you're not quite sure what that means, I had to be a little bit sneaky, because this is one of the tabooer topics that you never know how YouTube's going to act. But we were talking about breath play or choking in this video, okay? So some of these, they're going to range from super dark to, maybe it happens just a little bit. I'm not going to be able to tell you the number of scenes or how much or what the aggression level of this is. I'm mostly relying on Goodreads list to put this together because choking scenes aren't something that I track. So when I put together a list like this to be able to recommend to you guys, I track all the books I read. And so when I want to do a video like this, I go through and see which of those books under that category I have read. Okay. And so for this one, I can't speak to, the level of it, but I will tell you how dark the book is, and that should maybe give you a hint of how much there is. Okay. So we're going to go through these ones pretty quickly because some of them are a bit older for me as well. So it's been a while since I've read them, but also when I do the oddly specific book recs, we like to keep this snappy for you. Okay. So the first one I want to mention is Torrent by Gemma James. I've actually read the first 3 in this series. I think there's 7 or 8. I got a little bit tired with them partway. This is a very dark series. It involves some non-consensual elements, so know that. Most of it is C&C, but there is a case further into the series I know where our heroine gets kidnapped, and we do see some assault on Paige that happens to her because of that, so know that. There is some breath play in this one, okay? There is Degradation by Stylo Fantome. This is a series that I read at the beginning of 2020. I read it quite a while ago. And this one is a 4-book series about this couple that he was her sister's fiance. Things weren't going super well in that relationship. It wasn't going to last. But this relationship does start out with cheating. The very first time they're together is cheating. However, the reasons why this worked for me is, number one, a lot of the kink that happened in this book, it was one of the first times that I'd specifically read a book that had degradation in it, which I know isn't everyone's thing. I promise you the heroine is really kick-ass, and so it doesn't feel like the hero is beating her down with this degradation. It's pretty, aligned with kink and everything. But their very first interaction is cheating. But we find out that the hero's kind of actually using it as a way to get out of the relationship with her sister, and her sister is a total bitch. Not that that's the reason you should be cheated on. I'm saying so. But then what is fascinating about this one for me, and why I did like it, is that even though she is the sister and he is the outsider, her family disinherits her for sleeping with him, and no repercussions for him at all. So 10 years down the line, they bump into each other again. And now he is like a billionaire, and she is going through some really rough times. And when he sees her again, he never wants to let her go. Monster in His Eyes by J.M. Darhauer. This is a trilogy by her, and this is a pretty big age gap. Our hero rescues our heroine from being roofied at a party or at a club when she's only like 18, and then they start this relationship, and there's a lot more going on than what she knows about, because why would this successful, rich, man in his 30s be interested in this really, really young girl who has nothing to offer him? Well, there's reasons, and there is consensual choking going on, so there you go. Bait by Jade West. This book fits into a lot of categories. This was the first Jade West I ever read, and it was also one of the first books with CNC in it that I understood that CNC is what was happening, okay? So this also involves rape fantasy. Our heroine, she is on the internet trying to find someone to be a fake rapist to her. And she stumbles across this chat room where our hero used to go to this chat room with his wife. His wife also enjoyed rape fantasy. And so he sees this woman asking for someone to be her rapist. And he's like, woman, don't do that. That's not how you go about this. And she's like, well, if I could just live out this fantasy just one time and know what it was like, then maybe I'd be able to move on from it. And so he is like, well, instead of just asking a random stranger, even though I am also still a random stranger, how about we act this out together and see what happens? So there is lots of CNC in this, and this book was amazing. Like, Jade West tells a really kinky, dirty story, and then she always has some heart buried in there, and it's fantastic. So highly recommend. Den of Vipers by K.A. Knight. This book just says everything. This is a mafia reverse harem. It's bananas. You probably heard about it by now. I read it before it was popular on TikTok or Booktube. I stumbled across this book because I thought it had an interesting cover. Boy, was I in for a party. This is my first reverse harem, and it's still stuck with me. Like, this book has still stuck with me. I haven't been able to get away from it, even though it's banana pants. It's in there. There's choking. There's blood play. There's a lot of kinds of play in this, okay? So just know that. Lessons in Sin by Pam Godwin. This is a new release. There's not a ton of choking or breath play in this, but our hero is a kink man. He is also a priest and a headmaster, and our heroine is an 18-year-old troublesome rich girl, and he's gonna discipline her. That is a very flippant way to describe this book, which I loved quite a lot, and it is in my favorite books of the year, but just thought I would share that. Sweet Captivity by Julia Sykes. This is like it sounds. We get a girl who is taken by the mafia and given to their torturer to try to get information out of her. She is an FBI analyst who has recently moved into field work. Think of like Penelope Garcia a little bit. And she's very interested in kink, actually, even though she's a virgin. And so our hero, who is trying to get information out of her, is discovering it's a little more difficult than he thought because she likes a lot of it. Which was very clever. This, I can't wait to read more by Julia Sykes. I really can't. I very much enjoyed this one. Shame by Fiona Cole. I'm glad to see more people reading this book again. This book is about this couple at 3 different times in their life. So first, when they are teenagers, they're best friends, they live next door, and they start to experiment with each other. She's interested in submission, and he is interested in dominance. And they are kids. And I'm not saying that there's like mistakes, but it does specifically scare the hero the way that he is looking at the heroine and feeling about her. And he thinks that there's something wrong with him, that he wants to tie her up and degrade her and do things, and doesn't quite understand that, hey, like, kink is a thing, baby. We can make it happen. And so we see them at these 3 different points in their lives when they've been through things later on and how they get brought back together. I wonder how I would feel about this book now, because time jumps were not a pet peeve of mine when I first read this, but also, I mean, they work because it starts when they are kids, like they are 15, and then it's when they're in college, and then it's after that, you know, so it's believable jumps and everything. I have another Jade West on here, is Buy Me Sir. This is a very dark one. I actually haven't read the entire trilogy, okay? Because this is about a girl who gets sold into sex slavery, and it was very dark. And yes, there is some breath play in here. And then there's one more I wanted to mention that I actually haven't read yet, but is on my TBR, and it happened to be on this list. So I want to put it on here because I will be reading this book in August, and that is The Protégé by Briana Hale. And I know this is a guardian ward book, and them getting together when she is, you know, no longer his ward. So I'm interested in reading that one. So there you go. There are 10 recommendations for the good old breath play. Oh boy. I do have another one of these more taboo videos planned for the near future, so keep that in mind. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Again, if you're interested in any of the new merch, make sure to check out the link in the description. I'm very excited about some of these, and it just, I mean, if nobody buys them but me, I'm going to be happy. But I would love to share them with you, so definitely check them out. Thank you so much for watching. I put up new videos 3 to 4 times a week, and if you would like to see more, you can do that now. Bye.